Welcome to Static Fear. I am Peyton.
And I'm Adam.
Adam, what are we reading today?
Well, what we are reading is a story called When the Kids in My Town Turn 18 Years Old, They Kill Their Parents. I just discovered why. And it's actually by someone named Trash underscore Tia off of r slash scary stories.
How did you end up finding this story?
Well, to be honest with you, I was looking through, like r slash no sleep, r slash creepypasta, stuff like that. And this one I said, and it just kind of stuck out because it's all the other ones that I was seeing, they was good, but the titles really didn't stick out too much. But this one, it's like, oh, when they turn 18, they kill their parents. Like, what's this? Seemed
S-
piqued my curiosity.
Yes, but it draws you in with the title.
Yes,
Yeah, but that's
very,
that's
very
the thing
much.
about with all these like stories on like Reddit and stuff. Like you got this big title trying to draw you in. You can't just call it "Kids in Town." It could mean
Yeah,
anything.
18-year-olds kill their parents. Like,
Well,
what?
well, here's why.
Yeah.
All
So I
right.
mean, it seems like it's going to be a very, very unique story. So,
I think so. Let's just jump right into it and find out what it's like.
alrighty, sounds good. They called us the miracle generation. Children were seemingly not allowed in this town. And when, by some miracle, they were somehow allowed to exist, they lasted maybe 3 or 4 days. So when an entire class of babies came out of nowhere, that is what our town named us miracles. 18 years later, Seth Daniels killed his parents. And I don't mean kill like he burned the house down with them in it or poisoned them in their sleep. I mean kill. According to the town newspaper, my mom is always feverishly reading the bodies were mutilated, like like an animal had tore them apart. I knew Seth. I know I've known him since we were little kids. He lived across the road from me. Seth regularly invited me over to watch Power Rangers and would enthusiastically sing and dance to the intro. Seth loved his mom and dad. The town media went radio silent except for one measly article in the newspaper. I figured nobody wanted to say what everyone was thinking, but it didn't make sense. This curse has allowed us to live for 17 years and now it wanted to do something? And why would it lash out at parents instead of kids? Why force the kid to kill their parents? There was one detail that jumped out at me. It was Seth's 18th birthday, the exact day. I knew this because he'd been talking about having a party at school. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but what kid activity talks about having a birthday party on the same day they're planning to brutally murder their parents? I asked a lot of questions because nobody else was making noise, and I refused to believe Seth had willingly done something like this. Mom said the Daniels case was too gruesome to tell me about, so I did some digging myself. We're a small town. Finn Novak is the son of the sheriff, so it cost me $20 and a promise to introduce him to my brother to get into his dad's office. It was a very cloak and dagger. I definitely felt like one of those TV detectives. The documents were still fresh in the top drawer beneath his desk. Daniels. I picked up the folder, motioning for Finn to keep a lookout. He tossed me a pissed off look, but attempted to charm the receptionist into a conversation while I studied the autopsy notes. After skim reading, I wish I could delete the information from my memory.
Mara!
I lifted my head. The boy was making some pretty intense hand gestures worthy of a Saturday morning cartoon.
Are you crazy? Get out of there!
Before I could answer, he pointed behind him, eyes wide.
My dad is coming.
Nodding, I forced myself to stay calm despite the way my stomach twisted. I snapped several photos of the notes before swiftly leaving the room and closing the door behind me. It's not like Finn expressed any interest in what I was looking for, but he still sat with me on a bench in the middle of the town square, a Starbucks latte balanced on his lap.
So,
He leaned over, peeking at my phone while loudly slurping on his straw.
what's the verdict? Did he kill them?
I had a hard time answering without bringing up my meager breakfast.
Yes.
Staring at the photo on my phone screen. Mom was right. The autopsy notes were gruesome because there were barely anything left to perform an autopsy on. It's kind of, to be honest with you, Peyton, one thing that I do really like is the fact that it's like they're keeping everything a secret. Like it's not, you know,
Yeah, it's like you're unaware.
yeah. Like the parents know something's up.
But if they, I mean, if that's true and they do know something's up, like, you would think they would try to prevent it, right?
Yeah, you would figure, but I mean, maybe it's something that is just a town curse or something. Maybe I'm not really sure. Just speculating here. Maybe like a town curse or something like that, where there's no way for them to stop it. Maybe.
Kind of like, it's like the town is stuck in a kind of like a, um, what's that in between heaven and hell?
Purgatory.
Purgatory. Yeah, it's like you're
Purgatory.
built to live. You're there to live a curse, and it just recycles itself with each coming family. Could be family coming from Earth themselves. They just don't have no memory of what went on and how they even got there.
You know what? That actually, some of these things that we read could really be good movies. You know
It's
that
true. Uh,
they'd
I,
be really good
I
movies.
mean, like that's how a lot of these stories start. Just like with the backrooms come that came out, it is based on um a creepy pasta. Then it was turned into
Creepypasta,
then turned into that
the
YouTube
YouTube.
video.
hmm I mean, it's just, I think, especially with Reddit and the internet in general, it kind of gave people more room for creativity and stuff too.
I agree,
And
absolutely,
I feel like that really helps kind of bring stuff out. And I feel like a lot of studios are starting to realize that too.
absolutely, I agree.
So, in my head, Seth had maybe stabbed his parents, but in reality, he had ripped them apart. The notes contained a detailed description of the remains, which weren't much. A single torso and a head. That was it. Both victims was Sana, 38, and Oliver, 39, Daniels. The images were black and white, and I could barely make them out. Just two square photos stapled to the end of the report. But they wouldn't leave my mind. A single head, a torso, that was all that remained of Seth's parents, which meant somehow he had the strength to rip them to shreds. I was already thinking it when I passed my phone to Finn, who hissed through his teeth,
Holy fuck!
passing me his empty cup while squinting at the screen.
Crazy asshole actually butchered them. He didn't butcher them. I managed. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. I managed to choke out despite knowing I was in deep denial. I couldn't defend Seth when the evidence was sitting right there in black and white. He hadn't just killed them, he had dismembered them in a way no human, not even some genius serial killer, could. This was animalistic. The more I thought about it, the sicker I got. It wasn't until my mouth filled with vomit and I was on my hands and knees, choking up my guts, that the gravity of the situation truly slammed into me. If Seth Daniels had killed his mom and dad out of nowhere, was that fate eventually going to take me too? It had to be the curse. There was no other explanation. I didn't dig any further into the investigation because I was terrified of finding something I didn't want to see. Murder motivated by emotion and motive is awful, sure, but it can still be understood. But when it comes to some separate force taking control of your will and forcing you to kill, that's when there are no real answers, only questions. Our town had been plagued by an invisible force that had taken away our children. Could it be that we angered it? By being born, we had somehow pissed off this all seeing God? It was several days later when Mom told me Seth had been taken to juvenile detention and never even got a court case. He admitted to it automatically.
Yes, I killed my mom and dad.
Those were his exact words when he was dragged from his house with his arms bound behind his back, a pair of Ray-Bans hiding his eyes from the world. The words were cruel and unforgiving, spoken in an emotionless drone. He didn't care. Watching him get sworn by local news crews from my bedroom window, Seth almost resembled a celebrity, the way he was shoved through flashing lights and microphones. Seth Daniels hated attention. Usually, if he got picked to read aloud in class, his cheeks would turn bright red and he'd stumble through the passage trying not to cry. The boy I saw now was not my neighbor. This version of him held his head high, movement swift and robotic as he calmly climbed into the back of a waiting SUV. Despite saying all of that, despite watching Seth stand uncaring in front of the camera, I still knew he would never do something like that. I know murderers can turn out to be the most unexpected people: friends, family, the people you grow up with and trust. But there was something about the Daniels case that I couldn't get out of my head. Mom told me to forget about it when I started asking questions about the so-called curse and about how exactly I was born. Over dinner, I asked one too many. She dropped her fork onto her plate, startling my twins sitting across from me. Freddie and I were fraternal twins and looked nothing alike, but that didn't stop Mom from trying to dye my hair when I was little so I'd match Freddie's red curls. I have natural brown hair. Freddie is a redhead, and Noah is blonde. Thing is what is Noah, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, normal people would probably question that, but in our town, it was pretty common for kids not to resemble their parents because of the lengths people went in order to have children.
It doesn't make
What?
sense.
What?
What does that mean?
That just okay. So even though they're twins, I mean, which fraternal twins, they're not. They don't look alike, right?
No, no, they don't.
Okay, but the parents don't. The kids don't look like the parents.
So, or is that the parents?
It kind of makes me think that what if they're not actually the parents don't actually make the children.
Goes back to my theory of purgatory, where
Mm.
um they're basically mismatching kids with the parents. I don't. I doubt that we're going in that direction, but it's just a thought.
You never know though, because maybe it's like they're mismatching the parents with the kids, and maybe that's having an issue with it
I mean,
because it's animalistic.
territorial because
Like what if
automatically
mm,
thinking that since they're the grown-ups that they're in charge, and if you are in a family that you know it's not yours, you become more territorial. And now that you turn 18, it's like, this is my house and I'm going to take it from you.
yeah, and it's just it's like it's a flip of the switch as soon as they turn 18.
Yes,
It's a
because
little flip,
it's like
like it's just this.
it's when you become an adult in
Yeah,
some cultures.
what gets me is it saying, you know, it's pretty common for kids not to resemble their parents because of the lengths people went to in order to have children.
That doesn't
So,
necessarily mean it's theirs.
yeah,
Like someone had the kids, but doesn't mean it's them who had the
or
kids.
something.
Something. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Could be just like
Mm.
a factory with a big monster and just popping out kids.
Just put the kids out.
But it requires a sacrifice of the parents.
Yeah.
Just
And just a ever revolving door.
yes. It doesn't make sense.
I said for maybe the third or fourth time, fully aware I was hyper fixating.
Why now?
I forked pasta into my mouth, ignoring my twin's glare.
If we really are cursed, why wait the whole 17 years? Mara!
Mara! Mom cleared her throat, her lips pausing on the rim of her wine glass. When Dad worked late, Mom pulled out the wine. We weren't supposed to tell him.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you about discussing business at. It's not. That's. Oh, let me start over. What did I tell you about discussing business that's not ours? But it's our business, I said. Oh, what? Death is my friend. He's my friend.
Freddie had already finished his dinner, occasionally glancing down at his Switch.
You didn't even like him. Do you remember when he called you called him an asshole?
This time I kicked him. From the way he jumped in his seat, his eyes widening for the fraction of a second, it hurt him.
We were 12 and he stole my doll. Am I reading a boy or a girl?
You know what? It is what it is.
Okay.
It is what it is.
You still called him an asshole. Oh, sorry, a hole.
Yeah, we're PG around here, Peyton.
After I just got done saying asshole.
Freddie said in a sing-song voice, his gaze flicking back to his game.
I actually played with him, and he only paid attention to you because he wanted to play on your DS. You called him a big nose freak.
I spat back.
So did you.
Noah, our more well-behaved little sister, ducked her head to hide her laughter.
That's enough.
Mom, who was halfway through a bottle of wine, slammed the glass down on the table. Her eyes found mine.
Mara, if you ask one more question about the Daniels case, I will take your phone for a week.
Freddie snickered, but she snapped at him too.
That goes for you too.
She stood up.
I'm going upstairs. Whoever is on the Rhoda.
Rhoda?
Rhoda. Please clean the dishes and make the kitchen tidy before your father comes home.
Freddie huffed like a child, folding his arms.
What about Naya?
He gestured to her.
She was laughing. I was not.
Noah squeaked. Judging by the sudden noise that escaped my brother's mouth, her little sister had joined me in my assault. Mom didn't reply, picking her glass of wine and the whole bottle. She slunk upstairs as usual. We were used to it. Every night when Dad was at work, Mom abandoned us at the dinner table and did the same ritual she had been doing since we were little kids. Armed with nothing but wine and a candle, Mom locked herself in her bedroom until the early hours of the next morning. When we were 10, Freddie and I attempted to sneak in and see what she was doing, but at that point, and that late into the night, Mom had fallen asleep on the floor, the candle still flickering away. That night was the same. Mom disappeared all night, and I took it upon myself to clean away the dishes. Freddie went to hang out with friends, and Noah practically went brain dead once she got on TikTok. Mom had a strict rule: no matter what, we had to hand our phones in at 11 every night. That included all electronics, including switches. In fact, she went as far as switching off the outlets in our rooms, which meant no late night games on Mario Kart. I thought we would eventually grow out of the rule, but no. I wonder if something has to, if she's saying, at 11, we have to get rid of, no electronics.
Why? Because they're learning too much, or is it specific with the time that it's like why 11? Which I mean,
Maybe
like
that's like,
it's a normal hour to give up your devices if you live in a
but,
prison.
but to the point where she turned off the outlets in the room, like it's that strict, and she locked herself in. She locks herself in the bedroom every night.
Me having a little
I
bit
wonder
of
if
logic, I'm wondering like, does she have the breaker box in her room where she can shut off the outlets? But I
maybe,
mean, I want to know who wired this house, but
maybe she wired the house. We don't know. Maybe she was an electrician.
more power to her, I guess.
But honestly, like I feel like, what if she's hiding in her room because she knows what's eventually going to happen?
I don't think she's preparing enough if that's the case.
If maybe she just like it's going to happen, so she drinks every night.
What can she not leave? Could she not escape this hell that she is bound to be in? Is there a reason
You
for
never
it?
know.
But I guess
Maybe not.
we will find out.
We will, indeed. Freddie was, of course, the golden boy, so he had left his phone and switch on the kitchen table before leaving for his friend's house, which Mom also said wasn't allowed, but I guess that rule didn't apply to him. I was sitting on the kitchen countertop, frowning at my phone screen, reading and rereading the Daniel's autopsy notes, when Noah let out a shriek. The time was 11:01, which meant Noah was already breaking the no phone rule. I jumped off the countertop, pausing to throw my phone next to Freddy's before the thought hit me. Why was my first automatic thought was to put my phone down? I tried to pocket it before a pulsing pain suddenly ignited between my fingers. It felt like an electric shock only lasting a few seconds, maybe not even that. My phone slipped from my hands, but not before the lights above flickered and went out completely, leaving me in darkness. Fuck. The warm glow of the hallway outside confirmed that just the kitchen had short circuited. Mom had always been antsy about technology altogether. She only got his phones because we begged, and Freddie had bought his Switch himself with cash from his part time job. My gaze found my mostly okay iPhone laying face down on the pastel pink tiles. I reached to pick it up before the same pain writhed up my index finger.
Aura?
Noah's squeak came from the lounge. I found her sitting on the floor, her phone in her hands, her eyes wide, her lips stretched into a grin.
Look.
She whispered. Following her gaze, I saw my sister grasping her phone. I saw nothing interesting. She was watching a YouTube video, some kind of video essay on serial killers.
What? It's charging.
At first, I had no idea what she was talking about before my gaze found the charging symbol at the top of her screen, a lightning bolt indicating the charger was inserted. But when I followed Noah's pointer finger, I glimpsed her iPhone charger on the other side of the room, still plugged into the outlet. Noah was shaking with anticipation.
Wait,
Wait, that's not even.
wait, that's not even the best part.
She squeaked.
Look what happens if I let it go.
My sister dropped the phone, and the symbol disappeared. She picked it up back up, and the charging indicator flashed. Initially, I thought she was playing some kind of trick, but she did it again. And then again, I realized I wasn't seeing things. The phone was charging itself without a charger. Noah, being Noah, automatically thought she had some kind of superpower. My little sister jumped to her feet and strode over to the television, prodding the screen, only for nothing to happen. Then she tried the lamp on the stand and the PlayStation 4. Nothing. I admit, I was kind of excited for maybe a full minute before I realized there was most likely a scientific explanation, and there was. According to an article I found online, yes, electronic devices can charge their batteries through various methods without being plugged into a source of electricity. Oh,
Okay. Continue.
sorry.
It's okay. Continue.
Still, according to the author of the article, it usually wasn't enough power to make a difference. So I had Noah's phone actually been charging. I watched the percentage jump from 10% to 16. I put it down to a malfunction. It made sense if I really thought about it. The next day, however, did not make sense. I was still half asleep when I awoke to my brother looming over me.
What is it?
Freddie waved the phone in my face.
Just read it.
I did, skimming through the messages, each one sending my gut hurtling further and further into my throat. There was a sea of gray messages from the recipient and only 2 messages in blue from Freddie.
Skinned of flesh. It was gnarly. Mrs. Crane fainted, and my mom had a fucking panic attack. Skull completely pulverized. I can't believe I saw this shit, man. What the fuck? There are people guarding the scene now, but earlier you could just fucking walk in. Animal. Crazy fucking psycho. The living room was covered in blood like a horror movie. The guy painted the fucking walls. There was nothing left on the stretcher they brought out. Just skin. There were blue sheets over the body, but there wasn't even a body. I think I saw a hand or maybe a foot, but they definitely weren't attached. I don't know. It was fucking gross. Mom wanted to send me to therapy. LMAO.
My brother finally replied in blue.
Who was it? The sheriff's son.
Came the reply.
That kid is going to hell, and I'm an atheist. I hope he gets karma, because who does that? Wasn't he close to his pop? JFC. I can't I can't get my head around it.
It took a moment for the messages to sink in, and I was out of bed before my brain could catch up with my body. Then, in 3 strides, I was on my knees, choking up dust. Freddie dropped down onto my bed with a hissed breath.
Didn't you know that kid?
He whispered.
That was Finn, right?
His words weren't fully registering. This time, I did throw something up, something sour and slimy spluttering from my lips, my stomach heaving.
You okay? No. Do you want me to help? No.
I swapped at my mouth, but it kept coming, this time bouts of stomach lining filling my mouth.
Did you check?
I made a choke out, spitting out vomit.
What? Did you check?
I said slowly, pacing out my words.
Did you see if it was Finn? Oh yeah. It was him all right. The cops already caught him. Apparently he was trying to run for it.
Freddie sighed.
Maybe he was scared.
It didn't make sense. How could Finn kill his father? He loved his dad. I barely knew the kid outside of him helping me get into his dad's office. But even then, I saw photo frames on Sheriff Novak's desk. I saw photos of the two of them at Christmas and Father's Day, on vacations, just hanging out together. In kindergarten, a boy had loudly announced that Sheriff Novak was a pig, and Finn wrestled him to the ground, almost knocking the kid out. Finn was tiny, lean. There was no way he was strong enough to rip his father apart.
Fuck.
Freddie groaned. Hanging upside down off the bed, he twisted his head to look at me, blowing dark red hair out of his eyes.
Are we cursed?
That was the first time I found myself nodding, my thoughts dizzy. But that didn't stop me from trying to talk to him. According to Mom, Finn was being shipped off to juvenile detention at noon. Until then, he was locked up downtown. Sheriff Novak was dead, so the town's law enforcement was scrambling to appoint someone new. The station had been packed all morning before people slowly started to disperse. I took my chance, slipping in with a group of frantic parents screaming about the safety of their kids, while the woman behind the counter tried to calm them down. I dug through the door at the back and into the cells. I expected guards. There were none. I figured the chaos with the parents had given me the perfect distraction. The first thing I noticed when I stepped inside was a flickering light. Not from the bulbs overhead. In front of the cell sat an empty desk with an open laptop. As I stepped closer, I realized it was a laptop screen flickering erratically. When the bulb above me shattered, I jumped.
Mara?
Fann's voice sounded just like Seth's, flat and motionless. I spun around and caught sight of him standing behind the bars, hands wrapped around them, very Silence of the Lambs. Fan loved horror movies, so I wouldn't have been surprised if he was jokingly reenacting a scene, though that would have required him to show even a shred of emotion. I wasn't sure what I'd expected, but it wasn't this. I thought Finn would be hysterical, crying, swearing he was innocent, that he would never kill his father. Instead, I was staring at the face of a murderer, or half of one. His lips curved into a faint smile, but there was nothing behind it. Just like Seth, his eyes were hidden behind a pair of Ray-Bans. Expensive-looking ones that clashed with his plain short-sleeved t-shirt and jeans, both stained with his father's blood. When I opened my mouth to speak, his arms dropped to his sides.
Aren't you going to wish me a happy birthday?
The phantom legs of a spider crawled down my spine. I took an involuntary step toward him, my breath catching in my throat.
It's your birthday?
He nodded once.
I turned 18 yesterday. Wish me a happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I whispered.
And did you kill my dad?
Finn finished for me in the exact same tone as Seth. No remorse, no hesitation. Nothing to suggest he regretted what he'd done.
I pulled out his lungs and cut off his head. I skinned him to the bone and dumped his guts in the toilet to hide them. But
I shook my head, tears burning my eyes.
you didn't. You didn't mean to.
Finn cut me off, slicing straight through my spiraling thoughts.
When is your birthday again?
He asked without a trace of curiosity. The question was simple, but it sent me stumbling backward into the cold concrete wall.
When is your birthday? Why?
His expression never changed.
When is your birthday? June 23rd.
I breathed. Finn stayed still for a moment before slowly slipping off his Ray-Bans. At first, I thought he was going for some dramatic reveal, like a character in a noir movie about to confess every grisly detail of what he'd done to his father. Instead, the glasses dropped from his fingers, and I saw where his eyes should have been. Twin caverns of darkness stared back at me, somehow still alive. I couldn't stop myself from stepping closer, peering through the dim light of the cell. No, I wasn't imagining it. Finn's eyes were gone, ripped clean from his skull. The skin around the sockets were torn and bruised, the damage jagged and violent.
Happy birthday.
He said in the same dull, lifeless drawl. That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah.
He's literally so the other um what's his name?
Finn?
The there's Finn's this one. The
Seth?
Daniels kid. Seth. Yeah. Seth. He also had the Ray-Bans on.
So you think certainly the story is not about how Ray Bans get you to murder your parents, right?
I think it is.
Really?
I think yes.
So his eyes
You
were
have a pair of
gone.
Ray-Bans, don't you?
Yeah, they're right here.
Not sponsored. No. So yes. Do you tell me this, Peyton?
What?
Is there an inkling of you that's wanting to murder your parents right now?
No, not at all. I
To
love
rip
my
them in half?
parents. No,
Are
no.
you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Now you, on the other hand,
I don't have Ray-Bans,
you want a pair?
so I'm safe. um, but see, so something's going on where they're murdering their parents, but they're also gouging out their own eyes,
Maybe it's the
and they both
glasses.
have.
Maybe the glasses are taking their eyes. Like does it actually say that he pulled his eyes out? Like
Yeah, yeah, because it says this. Finn's eyes were gone, ripped clean from his skull. The skin around the sockets were torn and bruised.
but
The damage jagged and violent, meaning he violently ripped out his eyes.
do we know it was him that ripped out his own eyes? Could have been something else that ripped out his own eyes. Maybe if we're saying the Ray Bans are the bad guys of this, maybe the Ray Bans have little claws and stuff and rip out the eyeballs.
It controls them.
Yeah, kind of like a chip.
Or what if the Ray-Ban monster killed the
I
parents
think we're over.
and then ripped out his eyes? Just a theory. I'm not going to say that
Anything is possible.
anything is possible, especially considering the dude was apparently very lean and, you know, not that strong. And somehow he ripped his parents apart, ripped his dad.
Where's
Only
the
thing left
mom?
was skin. I guess she's gone.
Because
She got out of there early. She knew what was going to go on. She's the Ray-Ban monster.
have we heard a mom die yet in this story?
Yeah, Seth's mom and dad died. He ripped them in half.
Okay.
Only thing was left of Finn's dad was skin, apparently.
And a hand or a foot.
So not much of them left.
Can only imagine.
It's the Ray-Ban monster. I recoiled, Finn bent down slowly, felt around for the glasses, and slid them back on.
For the 23rd, I mean.
Then he pressed his face against the bars. This time, a manic giggle burst out of him from nowhere. His expression stayed vacant, but his mouth stretched into the grin of someone who had butchered his father and didn't care.
I'm looking forward to you joining me.
That was when I left, but before I could slam the door shut behind me, his voice followed me down the hallway.
And your brother.
Finn's laughter turned hysterical, almost animalistic. I could hear the clang of his skull smashing against the bars.
Don't forget your brother.
I was dragged out of the sheriff's office almost immediately and lectured by Mom for 2 straight hours. But even sitting in the living room while she yelled at me, half the precinct crowded around her, I couldn't stop hearing Finn's words. It was only when Mom pointed at me, her lips moving soundlessly, that I snapped back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. And got hit with another lecture about privacy and illegal entry. I ignored most of it. Sitting cross-legged on the couch beside Noah, who was pretending to scroll on through her phone, I finally spoke up.
I think it's a curse.
The room fell silent. Mom looked genuinely startled for a second before shaking her head sharply.
That is not what we're here. That's not what we're talking about, young lady. Do you understand how serious this is? Yeah, Mara.
Freddie chimed in from across the room. Like Noah, he was doing a terrible job pretending he was enjoying every second of my interrogation.
I can't believe you'd be so careless and stupid.
He trailed off.
Oh, wait. You didn't break in last month to steal documents from the Daniels case?
A grin tugged at his mouth.
Pretty sure that was illegal too. But what do I know? I'm just a high schooler. I don't sneak into the sheriff's office when I'm supposed to be in class.
I glared at him.
How do you even know that? You go through my phone?
He shrugged, comfortably adjusting himself on the recliner.
Your passcode is 4 zeros. A toddler could bypass it.
I don't know if it was the stress of what happened with Finn or my brother's dumb fucking grin, but I was already lunging across the room to, I don't know. He's taller than me, more built. He could squash me if he really wanted to. So what I thought was going to be a fight turned into me trying to do some damaging, while Freddy just shoved me away with a scoff. I did manage to hit him in the nose, but that was when Mom came in, pulling us apart and going into Mom mode.
Mom mode?
Mom was when she really got mad. Noah decided she was no longer wanted to be she no longer wanted to be a spectator and wandered into the kitchen. I was sent to my room and Freddy was lectured for antagonizing me. Several hours later, he appeared at my door with a half-eaten donut, a cup of hot cocoa, and a half-assed apology, which was his attempt at letting me know he was scared I was going to get myself hurt. I took the donut and cocoa and told him to go away. He did, after standing there for a while looking like a kicked puppy. I closed the door on his face when he made a point of trying to make me feel sorry for him. I wanted to talk to him about Finn, but he would just tell Mom and get me in trouble. So I found myself with information that was driving me crazy. My 18th birthday was approaching, and more kids were turning on their moms and dads. After Finn, it was Addie, then Jason, Sarah, and Kyra. All of them had turned 18 within weeks of each other. I thought the town was going to start freaking out and calling those of us who were left monsters, insisting we never should have been born. But to my surprise, there were barely any news coverage, and it almost became normal to hear about yet another kid being sent to juvenile detention. June arrived, and the days crept by faster and faster until it was the eve of my 18th birthday. And I found myself standing in my bathroom, trembling fingers wrapped around a razor blade. Ooh. Okay, Peyton, this is it. We're getting into the nitty gritty of it all.
Are we?
Yes, we're getting to the nitty gritty of it. It's the eve of the birthday.
Oh,
It is the eve of the birthday.
so he's already. He's not. Do you think he's gonna do it?
She,
What'd I say?
Mara. You said he. It's
I meant
Mara. I guess Mark could be a boy's name
let's
too.
not,
If you really tried.
let's not get into boys and girl
Yeah.
things. Let's just
Pish posh. It's all the same.
keep it as it is.
Every time I thought about actually doing it, slicing into my flesh until my wrists were dripping scarlet and I was struggling to breathe, I couldn't. So I dumped the razor in the trash and left the bathroom, only to run into Noah. Wrapped in her pink bathrobe, my little sister looked like a giant marshmallow hiding behind straggly blonde curls.
Mara,
Noah was grinning ear to ear as usual. She grabbed my hand and squeezed them.
do you remember what we did as kids?
From the look on her face, I knew exactly what she was talking about. When Mom was in bed or at work on our birthday eve, the three of us would scour her room for presents. We had eventually grown out of it, but every year Noah insisted on at least one search. It's not like I could refuse when my sister already had a tight grip on my arm and was yanking me into Mom's room. When I stumbled inside, I found our brother on his knees under Mom's bed, rifling through boxes and bags. I was surprised Noah had managed to drag Freddie into it, considering every other year he rolled his eyes and bid us adieu, calling Noah a baby. But now he was just as enthusiastic as he had been when he was little, when he used to shush us and turn it into a game. I would take one corner, Noah would take the closet, and Freddie would crawl underneath the bed because he was the only one who wasn't scared of monsters hiding under there. For a moment, I was considered just walking away and telling them they were being stupid and acting like children. But I did want to forget about the reality of turning 18 and possibly murdering my family. In a way, I guess I wanted to be a kid again. So, just like when I was 5, I wandered over to the furthest corner to search for presents that didn't exist. I knew they didn't exist because Mom gave us cash every birthday inside a card. Still, it was fun to search and feel that childlike magic come over me again. The thrill of pulling things aside and delving into boxes for hidden treasures, dolls we wanted, or the newest game console. To make Noah happy, I shoved a few things aside, finding myself smiling. Mom was always bad at hiding her presents. I was about to make that comment when Noah squeaked into light.
I found something.
When I twisted around, she was already partially inside the closet, one foot sticking out, her head buried in Mom's clothes. It looked like she was grasping at something. Freddie, who had already crawled out from under the bed, straightened up and shot me a look.
Really?
His eyes said,
Aren't we a little too old for this? We are.
I mouthed back. His grin transported me back to when we were 9 and the two of us had collectively found 5 wrapped gifts, then spent an hour shaking them to figure out what they were. But there were also that glimmer of excitement in his eyes when he joined Noah in front of the closet, the two of them managing to heave out what looked like a large box. I joined them hesitantly.
Any idea what it is?
I frowned at the box the two of them were struggling to hold properly. it was huge, almost the size of the closet itself. When Freddie and Noah finally managed to balance it, the three of us stepped back to take it in. Immediately, something cold slithered down my spine. First, it was the state of the box. Old. The cardboard was rotting. Noah shrieked when a mountain of bugs crawled out of the flaps. Looking closer, it seemed to be a box for a toy or a doll. But when I squinted, I realized the box was open. It had been open for a long time, and the more I looked, the sicker I felt. There was something staining the cardboard, an old red color painting the flaps and the inside of the thing itself. Suddenly, things were happening too quickly for me to understand. A blur of movement to my right, Freddy dropping to his knees and barfing everywhere, then Noah stumbling out of the room. I could hear her screams. I could hear, I could see my brother retching, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from the front of the box, because on the front of the box was me, Mara. I was staring at a photo of myself, smiling widely, colorful words printed across the box.
Now grows to full size.
Mom's net certified. The printed words looked like a different language, even though I could still read them.
Child. Have you ever wanted your very own child? Well, now you can. Just pull the cord and you will have your very own son/daughter.
I stepped forward when something moved. Freddie yanked me back, and I was already delving deeper into my mother's closet and finding a much newer box. This one was unopened, occupied. A fully grown college age guy peeked through the plastic packaging. This time I saw the cord, like an umbilical cord connected to the thing inside the box, which was asleep. Its eyes were shut.
Freddy,
It read.
this time in college.
Before Freddie could see it, I shoved it back, stumbling my heart in my throat. Okay, so we kind of was on the right path
A box.
when it came to when it came to maybe the children not being theirs.
So they're basically those little things that you put in the water. You basically grow your own kid.
Yes.
That's it's an interesting concept. What were those little fish called?
I don't know, because there was the dinosaur ones
No, well
that they had.
these were I, these were actually living creatures that you kind of like just threw them in water and they become like real fish.
What?
Get to your point. Well, I
I'm
looked this
I'm trying to. I think I know what you're talking about, but I find it wild that all of a sudden they're in this, and they're, how it says once they're 18, right, they kill their parents.
Yeah.
But then it said Freddie has one. It says this time in college, so it's like there's Freddie, and then there's a college version of them. It's almost like they're once they have a life expectancy of only 18 years old before they go crazy.
Trying to process this because I mean, like, by the way, they were called sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
but so the college box wasn't opened yet.
No, the other ones was open, but the college one wasn't.
So what would happen if they opened it?
I don't know, especially with Freddy already being there, and then a college version of Freddy.
in a way, to me, like, this is why I'm thinking whenever, like, let's say if that box was to open, I think of it kind of like weapons, where she wrapped the hair around the stick and snapped it, and they automatically become crazy. In a
Hmm.
way, I feel like that's what we're getting at with this.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, you
You know what this
reach
kind of reminds me of?
what?
The old Halloween movie.
Which
Not Michael Myers. Not Michael Myers. It's the
season of the
one that
witch?
is, yeah,
The one where um uh, they had the three masks, right?
yeah. And when the children put it on it, they killed the parents and everything,
Yeah,
or
but
adults,
don't it eventually
didn't
kill the
they?
kids after? I,
Yeah. Yeah. But we don't know what happens to the kids on here. Now that they become whenever they go to juvenile detention, or if
yeah.
they get picked up for recollection or something.
So one thing I'm not processing is, so you can be an adult, you can grow up and all that, but the moment you become a parent is whenever you'll eventually die, whenever your kid turns 18.
Yes, but it's not your child.
No, but you're basically choosing to die by taking on this responsibility to take make this child that becomes yours, and for to last for 18 years, and then you become a sacrifice for that curse.
But but maybe the parents don't know they're being sacrificed.
Well, you would think with everything happening around them, someone would.
I mean, yeah, they're probably I mean, the parents are probably freaking out, but but just know that there ain't much news coverage, even though all the news places are out whenever they arrest the 18-year-old.
Yeah.
There's news everywhere, but then there's actually no news coverage. It's like it gets silenced by someone.
Mm.
Almost
Yeah.
makes me think it's on a curse, and it's like, what if they're like robots or something?
But let's
Robots.
go back to curse. Robots.
Robots. I mean,
I mean,
what else would explain them being able to rip the parents in half?
whenever you don't know your own strength, we're
It's not
capable.
steroids.
I mean, not steroids. We're capable of at lifting as much as we know we can lift. Now, if we don't know, that's why some people have the ability to lift more than what they're supposed to.
But would they but are they actually human with the fact that
I don't
being they're in a box?
I don't necessarily, well, in a box. I kind of think of this kind of like um Hellraiser.
Hmm.
Um just maybe something is spawning out of it, and but I don't know.
Maybe. Well, we will continue and let's see what happens. I frowned at the blood staining the bottom of the second box when my brother grabbed my hand and yanked me backwards. Before I could fully register what was going on, he was dragging me downstairs. I think he was trying to get me out of there, but then he stopped, freezing in place. When I followed his gaze, I found two birthday cards set up on the mantelpiece. They were labeled in our mother's handwriting. The purple one was mine, and the pink one was Freddie's. I opened mine up, but instead of $20 notes slipping out, I found myself staring at a countdown reflected onto my face in red light. 59, 58, 57. Below that, my
My
dearest
dear,
Mara. Sorry,
it's
continue.
okay. My dearest Mara, I am so happy I met you, and I was able to call you my daughter. I found you at the age of 17, but you have given me a lifetime of memories I will cherish. you will be running out very soon. And like the other moms, I don't want to see you go. I am supposed to give you back tomorrow, but we have each made a pact. With every child we obtain, every mother and father agreed that sending you back to those people would be terrible. Giving you to another mother would break my heart, sweetheart. I have heard your biological mother has never stopped searching for you, and trust me, she won't find you. So, I'm not going to give you back. I do not support the company I got you from, but I have always wanted a child, and this town cannot have children. I lost too many inside me to be hopeful. Happy birthday, my beautiful daughter, and goodbye.
Mm, wow. So they're not robots. So I
No,
take that back.
they're not robots.
But it's from a company, and you're supposed to give them back before they turn 18.
So if you don't, they kill.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like they malfunction or something.
But given the information that they know, well, in a way, it's kind of like a sleeper agent in a way.
Mhm.
So at a certain point, like they activate. So in a way, you could have been technically right if you didn't say full on robot, but programmed in a sense to
They're
activate at 18.
Russian spies.
Are
This
we?
takes place during the Cold War.
There's TikTok.
How do we know there wasn't TikTok back in the Cold War?
Was
You
YouTube there
never
too?
know. YouTube TV was, but not YouTube. It was just YouTube TV.
YouTube TV was in the Cold War.
Yes, but not YouTube.
Right.
I'm not sure what emotions I felt at that moment, but I finally understood why Finn, Seth, and the others had killed their parents. I was wrong. There was a motive: rage.
What the fuck?
Freddy dropped his card, eyes wide.
We need to get out. We need to fucking get out of here because whatever this thing is, it's going to blow.
It's not a bomb. It's not a bomb. My brother shook me violently.
Are you listening to me? We need to get Nah and get the fuck out of here.
Going to blow, I thought dizzily. Had mom planted a bomb? Jesus. There was no time to find it, no way to get out. I was nodding along with my brother, trying to find Noah, who had disappeared, when it hit me like ice cold water. Finn standing in the sails with his eyes carved out. Seth was wearing Ray-Bans to cover his eyes. Every other kid I saw always wore sunglasses, always hid their eyes. With the countdown reflecting onto the wall, and Freddie screaming at me to find our sister, I wandered into the kitchen, pulled open Mom's prize knife drawer, and picked out the sharpest blade I could find. It had been driving me crazy ever since seeing the sheriff's son's mutilated face. Why would he do that to himself? Why would he kill his father and then carve out his own eyes? Part of me thought it really was a curse that had taken them as some kind of reward. but I was wrong. Of course, I was wrong. Finn Novak didn't scoop out his eyes because he was fucking crazy. He carved them out because he had gotten that exact birthday card, that exact countdown. And somehow he had known, just like me, as I stuffed my sweater sleeve into my mouth, that the bomb was part of us. Digging the blade into my eye and jerking it at an angle to sever it, I screamed into my sleeve, managing to choke out sobbing pleas for my brother to do the same. The countdown was still in my head, and if I concentrated, I could hear it. Beep, beep, beep. The thing sandwiched inside me. It could have been either I or both, but I didn't have time to guess. I was already on my knees when I managed to scoop out my eye with a knife and then my fingers. When the beeping stopped, I pressed my face into the kitchen floor and breathed in and out, using my sleeve to staunch the blood pouring down my face. My vision was ruined. I was pretty sure I was going to be blind, but it's better than being blown to pieces. Freddy was already in front of me, eyes wide and confused, clumsily grasping for the knife to do the same.
We're okay.
He was already following my lead, biting into his sleeve and hovering the knife in front of his eye. Noah stood in the doorway. I could see her shadow, and just seeing her, I knew she was trembling, too scared to come near either of us. Then, I opened my mouth to reassure her while helping Freddy sever the thing inside him. Then pop. I heard it first, the audible popping sound in my ear. Noah screamed behind me. Something warm hit my face, warm and red, coating my eyes and cheeks. When I wiped the startling scarlet from my face, I found glistening blood dripping down from the walls and slick across across the floor, the countertops, everything. I reached out for my brother, but he wasn't there anymore. I don't care if I'm some artificially grown freak who was born at 17 years old. I have already raided my kitchen for the best knives I can find, so I can find my mother and father and make them suffer. Wow.
So it's kind of like payback for making them do that to themselves. Or
What do you mean?
like I don't know exactly what I mean.
Fair enough. I think so. The fact that I wonder if the boy, Freddy, if he exploded.
I think he did because they felt something warm hit them, and
And he couldn't he couldn't take his eyes out in time.
yeah,
What?
I'm a little confused.
So they self-destruct when they're 18, but
Unless
then
you
they
give them back.
yes, and then they gouge their own eyes out.
But whenever the card we were reading the card and what the mother was saying to the daughter, is she's setting it up for her to suffer.
Yeah,
Thinking, but she's
because
what's the pact?
the pact they all the mothers and fathers made a pact that wasn't going to give the kids back to the company.
So let your kids suffer, then you die at the hands of your own kid.
Yes.
I don't understand the mindset.
So they didn't want to give the kids back.
Yeah,
So
but
they was going to remember she said that I've heard your biological mother has never stopped searching for you, and trust me, she won't find you.
yeah,
Meaning she's going to explode, but the parents aren't expecting the kids to gouge their eyes out in order to stop them from exploding.
But if you're gonna lose them regardless, and whenever it comes to that age, why wouldn't you just give them back?
Because what I'm guessing is that they wouldn't they feel like it's would be bad to give them back to the company, I guess, to be reused.
So, in other words, let them suffer, then you die. Well, okay, so they're in this situation. They don't think they're going to die, but they are okay with their kid
Mhm.
suffering and dying.
Well, dying. They know they're going to explode, I'm guessing. But they'd rather them basically die instead of getting sent back to the company, I'm guessing.
It's a neat story. And we didn't understand where it was going at first, and
No,
we wouldn't have been able to guess this.
no, no. I thought it was just going to be, honestly, part of me was thinking kind of like weapons,
Yeah,
like what you mentioned. That kind of was making sense at first, but then as it kept going on and stuff, it's like, okay. And then once they found the box, I was like, wait a second, that's
so
something's
my
really off there.
so my idea about the monster factory,
Partially correct.
partially correct, but it's a company. My I don't know why this is my number one question. How much were the kids?
I don't know how much they go for, Peyton. I don't have a chart with the prices of kids.
Like, do you like this one will be good in math? Like, nah, I don't know about that. This one will be good in history, and this one will be musically inclined. This one will be good at sports, depending on the what he or she can do.
Depends on the price.
Depends on the price. Which,
So
if
so
you
like a
think
poor
about
weather
this
partner?
story, it's kind of twisted. In well, it's
Which
already
part? It's all
it's already twisted, but in a reality standpoint.
yeah.
So
So can nobody have kids?
it said just that town. Wait, no, that town. Well,
Maybe it just might be that town. What if it's an experiment?
I mean that wouldn't surprise me, but if
Because it kind of makes sense partially because remember how she turned electricity off to their rooms and was taking the electronics away at 11 because at 11:01 all of a sudden they can charge their devices just by holding them because Noah could charge the device just by holding the phone. And with Mara, she says she felt like electric shock when she
so,
touched the phone.
maybe you are right about the robots in a way.
Or
Robot
they're
abilities, super strength,
ripping their parents
charging
apart.
phones by holding them.
I wonder if if the company or wherever they get the kids from says that they was actually born, but in all reality, they're not.
What is this
They're
part?
not actually.
So the box that they first found was the box that they got the child in.
Yeah, at 17 years old.
So
So she thinks she's been with the family forever since she was born.
so they only have the child for a year?
I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Or maybe they got her because she was a defect or something. She was cheap. They say, "I will have it for a year," or maybe they're buying all the kids to get them out of the factories, the kid factories. That just sounds gross. I don't like that.
I think we're leaning on a very bad reality of this.
Yes, and it could also be very. What's it word when it's it might be an analogy for real life.
Yeah, I get. Then
Or maybe we're reading too much into it.
maybe we are, but I mean, like, it it covers a lot of bases.
Yeah.
But
It's really good though. It was really good.
it was um I did.
Trash Tia did a good job.
Yes, she did. Came up with a
And
story that I don't know anyone else could.
literally, and
Yeah.
she is a top. She is a top 1% poster in r/slash scary stories. So she is a regular. So we might just end up reading more of her stories. You never know.
I'd like that. I'd be interested in what else she has
Mhm.
to tell.
And this was only 11 days ago. You never know. There might be a part two that comes out.
Yeah, this could be a series going forward.
Different
Because
perspectives from different children's.
yeah, or maybe a
From Freddie.
inside, huh?
Freddie has the college version of them. Maybe it'll be
Yeah.
from his perspective as college.
Or we get a in the factory process.
It's from an employee
Yeah.
standpoint.
Which we
Now
don't
that
know
would be
exactly
good.
how this factory operates.
Is it kind of like what's those birds? What's that thing that they said were
Storks?
babies? Yeah, that
Babies
they
come from
deliver
storks?
babies. Yeah,
That's not real.
no baby. He wasn't delivered by a bird.
But overall, like, it was a pretty solid story, and I think you could turn a series into this.
Definitely. On a scale of 1 to 10 on the creep factor of it, what would you give it?
Hmm. On the creep factor
On the creep factor.
or the fear.
That's already
Um,
taken, unfortunately.
I would say a 7.
A 7?
Yeah, I think it has because it's very story driven. It's a lot of you have to be very invested into the kids and this um uh, and understand the story. It got creepier towards the end, which I mean, like halfway through, about ripping his dad to pieces and leaving skin. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that's creepy. That's more of gory. Yeah, that's right.
40?
Gory.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like this. If this was made into a movie, it would be very big on the body horror aspects.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. And I think, honestly, I would like to see this turn into a movie.
Yeah,
I think it would work out good as a movie.
yeah.
And
I,
just the body horror and everything behind it. And keep it like this too, where you don't know much about where these kids are coming from.
that yeah, that's hard to market.
Yeah. But if
It could be
she
done.
if she does end up turning this into a series, that would be awesome. But hopefully she does keep it kind of up to the
Secluded.
imagination. Yeah, up to the imagination of where these
Yes.
kids are coming from.
Yes.
Maybe drop little hints here and there,
Yeah.
but nothing that gives away too much.
But the other stuff that she probably made, like it might blow everything we just read out of the water, and that could
Yeah.
be a movie. Like we don't know what there is to come and what else she has in store, what she can what she will write, or she already wrote it and just hasn't published it. There might be a part two.
Mhm.
We just don't know.
And to be honest with you,
Mhm.
I give it an 8 out of 10 on the creep factor.
I don't blame you.
Trash Tia, you did a good job,
Now
whoever
this
you may be.
you said that very like I don't know where you are, but
I don't know where
you
Trash
did a good
Tia is.
job wherever you might be in the world. But
Did a great
it
job.
was a pretty good story. I really enjoyed it, especially for the first story for the channel. And there's a lot of growing pains with this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, considering this is, like you said, it is our first video and our first podcast of doing this.
Now, one thing I'm going to change is, for one, I'm going to go through. I'm not going to read the story, but I'm going to, for one, make slideshow instead of having a video, and I'm going to actually um, have different colors for different things, so it's easier for both of us to read, so we're not reading each other's stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I notice I'll get into it a lot and then
Yeah,
I'll
I
realize,
mean,
oh, you know,
yeah, I did it
that's not
plenty of
that's
times.
not that's not mine.
My biggest issue, I just kept losing my place. I'm like,
Yeah. No, definitely.
but
Well, I mean, I do want to appreciate the people as well who's
absolutely,
listening or watching it. You know, definitely let us know what y'all think of the story as well. To be honest
absolutely,
with you.
and go look at more of her stuff on r/slash scary stories and t at Tia, un- sorry,
Trash.
trash underscore Tia,
Mhm.
and yeah, if you're watching this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a comment and leave a like, and if you're on YouTube, you have any suggestions, any stories, or anything, any input whatsoever towards anything that we're doing, just feel free to leave a comment and just let us know how you feel.
We won't cry too much, so it'll be okay.
I don't think we'll cry at all on this channel, but I don't see
Oh,
the
this
need.
channel. Oh, that's the other
Yeah,
channel, the crying channel. Yeah.
yeah.
We just sit there and cry.
This is fear, not tear.
Tear. Tear. Static tear.
That don't even go
It's
well.
sad stories. It'll be sad stories.
Static tear, sad story.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
r
Yes.
slash sad stories. Well, there probably is a
Yeah. It probably
Reddit with
is.
that. But
Hmm.
anything else you would like to add?
No. I mean, besides just again, I want to thank y'all for listening slash watching this. And again, like what he said, definitely give us suggestions on new other stories. And if you have any suggestions on how we can do things better, definitely let us know
Absolutely.
that as well. But besides that, thank y'all for listening to us, and we'll definitely be back with some more.
Absolutely. And I believe like anything we will appreciate you joining us on this journey to make new stuff and bettering the channel as we grow and just become more familiar with this different setup that we're doing. But I know on
'Cause
the
we're a bunch of
degenerates.
backwood hillbillies, backwood degenerates that doesn't know anything. So, could definitely help us out, give us some pointers for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you watching and listening. Goodbye.